Hello, welcome to I'm Angry, Annoyed, and Amused. What? I wait for him to put it down.
No, it was the facial expression. Like you had.
I'm turning it on.
You got like into character. You were like,
my own.
Right?
One time, I'm looking at.
and that's right
I hate
after.
you guys. Why don't you guys start doing it?
And that's right after we were talking about the acting
How about
thing.
you
I
start
think you.
doing it?
I think you want to do your podcast
about you do
Oscar
it?
award.
We'll
thing.
talk about the actors in the third episode.
Yeah.
Welcome to the I'm Angry, Annoyed, and Amused podcast. You're on with Mike. So next to me is Matt.
What's up?
Over there's Johnny.
Yo.
Across the table is the other Mike.
Hello.
Today we're going to be talking about, I guess generally price gouging, but specifically, it is price gouging, but at arenas, like arenas, stadiums, sports events, and concerts, that that kind of thing, and how I assume it's not really my thing. We're going to let Johnny and other Mike take this away in a sec, but
It's not your thing.
Not your thing.
I'm saying it wasn't.
It's
I didn't,
everybody's thing.
Oh.
no, it annoys
got
me.
it.
I'm saying I think the general idea
Yes.
of price. The reason why it's price gouging is because you can't buy the things anywhere else.
Here's the reason.
You can't bring in
here's
beer.
the reason why it's price gouging. I
Yes.
went
That'd
the
be
other
great.
day to see a hockey game. 2 beers was $45. Now, admittedly, I hit the 15% tip button, so if you extrapolate that out, I think it's like $3 in tips. So it's probably $42 for 2
Oh,
beers.
so much better.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Beer does not cost that much, right?
Right.
It's absolutely ridiculous. They don't allow you to bring anything in.
They don't allow outside vendors.
So your option is you buy their stuff or you have nothing.
Wait, but
Right?
get the rest of your bill. I love
So-
the last thing
So
you
I
bought.
added it up. So it
Food
cost
too.
me.
Food too. Same
That's
thing.
what-
Yeah, I'm gonna go through it.
Oh, okay.
So 2 beers each. That's $44 a shot. 45 almost, right? The food, 2 hot dogs, let's call it, was $19. But we do get a season ticket holder discount on that.
Both was 19 together, not.
I was
individually.
shocked at that too.
That's
19
pretty
together.
cheap.
I thought so,
with
too.
the 15%
For,
discount, but it would have been like.
But if it was
would've
just a
been
regular
like-
hot dog, that's
it's a hot dog,
$10.
22 or 23 bucks.
It's still expensive.
Without
I
the
just,
still.
discount.
I'm surprised.
But
it's
I
not
was
more.
shocked too when he said
And
it.
then a beer and a popcorn.
That was-
Decent
this is-
size-
this
decent
is the
size
worst
box
one.
of
The beers
popcorn.
and the beers are big.
33
Right? They're not
No.
12 ounce.
They're not 12 ounce.
They're like the
a little
16.
bigger.
12 and a half.
Yeah.
No, they're like the 16 ounce.
Yeah.
At
Is that a
generally,
pint?
right?
Is 16 ounces a pint?
I don't-
You don't know measurements.
Probably.
16? No, 12 ounces is a pint.
No.
I'm not answering this.
I
If
don't-
only we
ounces
knew.
is a-
If only we knew
I don't
a
know.
way to look that up.
8 ounces is a cup.
But anyway,
I know that one.
so we added that
Wow.
up.
We should really get this answer before we move on because
What-
we look really stupid.
I don't know what a pint of beer.
You know everybody's
16
writing in
ounces.
right now.
16
Why would I
ounces.
know that?
16 ounces a pint.
I don't know. I don't,
Is it?
How? Why do you mean? Why would you know that? You're supposed to be intelligent. How do we not know this?
That's just like a because
yeah,
it's
but
just
that's
like
like
a thing that doesn't matter to me.
We don't use. Yeah, who cares?
I said 16 ounce. I know the difference between like a 12 ounce can and a
Yeah.
16 ounce can. What do I care if it's a pint?
That's really bad.
What?
How you gonna?
Why would it
It's an
matter to me?
arbitrary
All right,
system
16
of
ounces. I
measurement.
was right.
All right. Okay.
So we added that up.
That looks really bad.
What did it come out to?
It was $33.
No, 44.
Oh,
Oh, it
totally.
was $148. I think.
Before I added in the
Parking.
and of
toll.
course the congestion pricing. No, don't call it a toll.
Oh yeah,
It's
congestion
not a
pricing.
toll. It's congestion price. They don't have
Right.
tolls.
Yeah.
But $144 to eat and drink
And eat and
at an arena. That's
That's insane.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I agree.
It's like it's robbery. It's legal robbery.
You said something before that I confirmed and shared. You said because they don't allow you to bring anything in, which also makes it worse.
Well, I think that's what makes it price
it
gouging.
does.
Yeah.
But
Like-
Yankee Stadium and City Field do allow you to bring in your own food up to a certain
Really?
size bag. Has to be a clear bag, and they also allow you to bring a drink. But your drink also has to be a plastic bottle. It has to be, I think,
Non-alcoholic?
it can't
Non-alcohol.
not alcohol,
Can't
and
be
it can't be
closed.
dark, and it has to be closed already. So like a water, ginger ale, something like that.
See, a water and a sandwich.
But we were saying that, yeah,
A
basically.
ham and cheese and a water.
Exactly.
Like what you're allowed to bring in.
But I
Okay.
think they
Look, I
do
would've
that.
saved, what,
That's something.
20 and let's say I don't know how much deposit.
Well, I mean, water's expensive too. Same
Yeah,
problem.
oh, yeah,
But, like,
water-
really, it's the alcohol. Like it's
Yeah.
beers generally. Or like I don't get mixed drinks, but I'm sure they're $30. Like if you wanted,
Oh,
I don't know.
yes.
I'm not gonna get a vodka
What's
soda
amazing,
at a
a
baseball
lot of
game.
people
But
do drink drinks.
no, people
They
do.
do.
At the
People do,
hockey
but they're
games,
expensive.
A lot of people drink drinks and wine.
No, I know. I'm just
And
saying I don't know
people
the
get drunk,
cost.
and I'm like,
I don't
man,
know
I'm not getting
how.
drunk on that price.
Yeah.
They're
no.
they're coming a little drunk already.
Probably.
There's nobody
Yeah, yeah.
showing up
People do.
sober
I mean,
as a
I've
saint.
seen people
I mean,
drink
for
a lot.
$600. I just
They
okay.
will.
I know.
Okay,
and
it's
I'm
possible.
sure there's
Okay, it's
people that
possible.
do it, but
It's possible, but
I'm
I
like-
have a feeling they're probably just pre-gaming.
just on principle, I wouldn't do it.
I'm the
You
same.
know? Like you want to go there and have a beer, so that's fine. I'll have a beer or two, but I am not like.
No, I
Yeah,
get
it
that.
starts breaking my heart
I'm
a little
not
bit.
buying
Like,
it.
especially if you go to a concert, and it's like 4 hours or
Yeah.
5 hours, and then you're like, oh man, I'm already up to a couple $100 here on alcohol. This is
Yeah.
stupid.
It's crazy.
It kind of makes you sober.
You know what's weird too? Call me crazy. I just feel like it's unnecessary.
is.
Like, are they not
It
making
is.
money?
They
Well,
make it
Like,
that's-
so
could it
much
not
money.
be from $18? Could it not be 14?
The
Is that
thing
really
is-
going? That's gonna break the bank.
I know.
The
of a
thing-
state of Madison Square Garden.
Right.
I don't,
Like, it's so
I don't know how it
exploitative.
all works. Like I don't know, like the vendor that's in there, if they have to pay a fee.
I mean,
Like I don't know how.
I just
it all
can't
works.
imagine that they're on razor thin margins. Is
I
the
think
general
that-
idea.
I think they
They
look
can't
at it
be.
like they buy all this stuff and they only have one night to sell it, and they might not sell it all, so they have to sell it at a price to kind of make it worth it.
I mean, but if it's an
think that's-
MSG place, they have something
They have
like
something
all
almost
the
every
time.
Yeah, yeah.
So like for them, if it's like beer, they're not going to run.
not
It's not like
right.
we bought a
Right.
pallet of Bud Lights, and now they're all trash. Like I don't think
nothing
they're.
is sitting there 3 months.
I don't
And
think-
anything, even the food they
Certain
have is
places
all
maybe.
stuff. Maybe a couple of things because now they're trying to get a little bit more artistic with their foods. But most places it's chicken fingers, pizza, things that are frozen and you're just throwing in some
Yeah.
really quick.
Like
And
Yankee
also these
Stadium,
guys-
there's nothing that's not
Yeah.
just a hot dog.
Aramark buys
Yeah.
in bulk, I'm sure, right? So it's like they supply,
That's true. Also, yeah, you're buying.
right?
You're buying
they're not,
a
So
truckload
much.
of beer.
and
It's
they're
cheaper
distributing
than.
it to all the places that they vend
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
it's not like So yeah, so that it's
I hate it.
it just hurts. It's not fair.
I
I
would-
always say like a family of 4 goes to a game. Like
Oh, it's
I
a
mean,
fortune.
you're
I see
you're
people
dead.
with kids, that the kids are eating, they're having cotton
I
candy,
mean,
ice cream.
it's like impossible.
And
That's,
that's,
like
that's
that's
after
a
the
$700 night.
That-
Right
Yeah,
after the
yeah.
tickets.
Yeah.
The tickets
you
are
better hope
pricey.
your team stinks.
Yeah.
Like if your team's having a good year, you're
Yeah.
like, look,
Yeah, if
we
you
can
actually-
either go to the game
If you
or
go to
eat.
see a
Right.
good game, if you go to take the family to a good game, you spend $500-$600 tickets
Easily.
included.
Yeah, I wonder how. I mean, I guess it's like everything, sports specifically related. I'm sure like concerts is probably the same. I would bet, but like I understand that the salaries of the people went up so exponentially in such a short time. But from like I wasn't. I mean, I was alive in the '90s, kind of, but not aware.
There you were.
But if it seems like things were like reasonably priced,
What?
like generally speaking, or across the board, like you could go to a game with a family, buy a couple beers, food, and it wasn't the equivalent of now where it's like it's $200.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, obviously
relatively speaking,
inflation
I know,
and stuff.
but you were
Everything
making
went
less.
up,
But I think
relatively speaking,
it
but-
seems like
It was for
It was
there's
more
a
affordable.
like more
You could take a family-
affordable
you could
relative
take a
to
family
your
a game.
not only
relative.
that, even concerts. There's a big thing. Well, it's not big, but there's a TikTok video of someone interviewing Kurt Cobain, and he was talking about his concerts, and they were popular at the time, and they were like, "Oh, what do you charge for your concert?" He's like $15.
Yeah.
And they're talking about it, and he's like, "Oh, whoever the interview is like, Madonna charges $50." And they're like, $50? $50? And he's like, who charges $50 for a concert? And then one of the other guys in the band's like, maybe we should charge $20. He's like, and I'm like, holy cow! Like that's the difference in these are people that want to give their fans a show and just get them in and give them the right fair price, and then there's
ticketing,
people want to rip you
A
off.
lot of it was Ticketmaster, right? They
Like
were
the reselling.
the the fees for processing. Like they ended up upcharging a lot. I know they get they're in a lot of controversy for that in
Oh,
general.
come on, don't even talk
Did the
about that.
prices,
They're-
did the prices come down, or they're still the same?
No, they haven't done nothing. The
No,
prices
they
are
haven't
still
done
the
anything. They
same.
were just in contract. Of course,
And they do-
They host like every event. I
They
mean,
do.
there's, like,
Well, they own
Ticketmaster
everything.
And AXS maybe, but usually it's Ticketmaster.
It's
so they
Ticketmaster
have no
or what's the
reason.
other one that they
get called
own?
out for it.
StubHub.
No, the
that
Ticketmaster
still
owns the
around?
other one.
Something like that.
Nation. Ticket.
Rock
some-
Nation?
No, I know what you mean. It is something Nation.
Some Nation. Ticketmaster owns them too.
Yeah.
And then Ticketmaster owns also all the friggin' venues.
So that's the thing.
do.
They get criticized for it, but there's no reason for them to stop.
But
because
there's no like,
competitor.
there's no everything of all the things that are regulated in this country, right? The sports events are not regulated at all. They could charge whatever they want. It
Yep.
seems, right? There's no limit on that.
I mean,
There's
my
no
guess
limit
would
on how much
be.
they could pay a person, right?
I think it's.
And all that stuff gets passed down to the
True.
consumer of the thing. But
I feel like it's probably two things happening, right? It's one, sort of everybody in America in this and probably in a lot more ways. But it's like the you know, they say like the boiling frog thing. If you like want to if you put a frog in a
You
what?
can't just throw things out at us like that.
No,
now,
it's like
now
a,
you got to explain the boiling
I
frog.
I was going. It was about to. It's very simple.
I was gonna sit quiet so everybody thought I knew this one.
very-
Be
Matt,
like,
have you heard of
yeah,
it?
I know the boiling frog.
Wait, Matt's
Uh-huh.
heard of it?
And all the listeners are gonna be like, oh wow, Johnny
No,
knew the
it's-
boiling frog
okay,
thing.
look.
I don't know the
Johnny just-
boiling.
It's-
I don't,
I
even know
don't
if
know
it's
it.
like, I don't know. I wouldn't know what to call it. It's not a thought experiment. It's just like an idea, I guess. That if you put a frog in a warm
It's like an analogy, isn't it?
analogy,
Just
if you
like
put a frog in a warm pot of water and you slowly raise the temperature, it'll never get out until it dies. Like it'll never be like
How's it gonna get out
because it
when it dies?
no, it'll die.
Oh.
It'll start boiling.
That's
but
the only way to
because,
boil a frog. The only way
because
to
you
boil a frog is to
slowly
slowly
because a
raise
frog will jump
Oh.
out. Ideally, like not ideally, generally a frog. If you think if you tossed a live frog in a pot of boiling water,
gonna
it'll just
jump
jump out. If you slowly raise the temperature, it won't know until it's too late because it's dead.
Is that
Okay.
true?
don't-
Again, it's
but
just
that's
like
just
it's
the
just an
thing.
analogy for how
Next Friday?
I love frogs.
you can try it.
Friday.
I'm not going to do
let's,
it.
just an
let's have
analogy.
a live podcast.
It's an analogy for how if you like, you know, incrementally change something, it's harder to realize that like
That
you've
it's
reached a
right.
point that's crazy, right? Like
Right.
if all of a sudden in 2010, every baseball stadium was like, look, we used to charge $6 for a beer, which is pretty much what you get a beer for if you go out to get a beer at a bar, which is about what beers cost. We're now going to charge 18
Right.
because you can't buy beers anywhere else. Everybody would have been a
Outrage.
outrage. But if they're like, well, okay, it was 6 in 1995 or 4 in 1995, whatever, 3 in 1995, and then 5 years later it's $4.50. A couple of years later it's 6.
Yeah.
Now it's 9. Then it's 12. It's like little by little. You went to the game when it was 6. You went to the game, you're like, oh, they went up
Yeah,
again.
that's
Right.
That's
Because we stupid
any-
people
any
do
It's
it.
things
that, and
like
we
that. If you
keep paying.
We do it.
And then, but
incrementally
to the regulatory aspect, I think that is also, on the other side, on like why is nobody taking charge of it being lower? It's because they're all making like it's the same as anything else where the people making the rules are the ones making the money on it.
Right.
like credit.
You know what I
cards.
mean? So like they don't care.
I mean, it's not the same,
cards,
but
I hate 'em.
they could charge 28%.
they can charge whatever they want. Yeah.
You know,
So unfair.
but if I borrow money from you and I got to pay you back at 5% interest, you're in trouble
Loan shark.
for lending money.
Yep.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
like, but they can charge 28%, 30%, whatever they
so
want.
bad.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever heard the not heard? You're not allowed to have. I couldn't run a casino in my own house, even if I fronted all the money.
Right.
I'm just not allowed to take a
You're
cut.
not allowed to do it.
That it's just, and I'm like, where is the freedom in that?
So you can't have a casino night, basically.
What you're allowed to do, I could. So let's say I was rich.
Sure, sure.
I could have all you guys come and play for real money. It becomes illegal if I take a cut.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
But like that doesn't make sense to me. Why does that make? Now I can't do that. I have to get a license. Why? I'm having my friends over
Because they
And
have
the
to get
idea is
their
like, but
cut
I'm
now.
buying all this stuff. But if it was a real thing, right? If I was playing poker with my friends every Friday, and we were all like playing kind of seriously, and like, we could play for $100, $200, whatever. And we're like, why don't we like have like a night? Get all your friends, get
But
20
but
of
this
us.
is
And I was like,
exactly
I'll
what I mean.
host, but I need the money
So-
out of the pot to pay for food. Like I'm having people over at
Right,
my house.
a little kickback.
I want to have the food and drinks. It's a fun night.
Right.
Right.
Can I not get a cut? And I could like charge a cover for my house, but I can't take a cut.
That you'll be in trouble for, but they could charge $22 for a beer in a place.
That's what I'm
A
saying,
beer
like,
that
it's-
costs $3, right?
Yeah, right.
and that's okay. Nobody cares about that
I mean, the people who care are the people who.
because they're paying.
Who are paying.
because they're paying for that right to do
Right.
that, and
Right.
they don't get
I
regulated
know.
by it.
I know.
Well,
I mean,
they give kickbacks.
yeah.
It's just
I
not,
guess I guess it is one. I wonder. I'd be interested to know if you could do it, which you couldn't. If you could get every Rangers fan to say, you know what, we're like this
One
is
day.
ridiculous.
Just one day.
One night, nobody go to a game, or like for a weekend. I don't know, 3 games. Nobody go to a game. Nobody nobody's there, so you can't buy anything. Just a full blackout. I wonder how fast the prices would drop. Like, 'cause
But then
my
how
thought
quick
is,
would they go back up?
Well, this is the thing. My thought is that all the prices are artificially inflated, right? Which means that they could drop it tomorrow. If nobody went to 3 Rangers games and they're like,
Right.
that actually is a huge chunk of our profit.
Right.
That's a lot of money sitting out there. Everything, we're going to go back to prices 10 years ago. Everything's cut in half, right?
That's not even 10
Didn't we
years
talk
ago.
about this
Let's
once
just say.
before? Because we looked
But
up
then,
how many hot dogs
they must
sell.
still be making money.
Did we? I don't remember.
We
Maybe.
looked up how many hot dogs they sell
Maybe.
at the stadiums and
Because
stuff.
it's like a ton. You know what I mean? And it's just like, because
See
if
if I can
it's
find
not
anything on that.
artificially inflated, if it's really sort of what they cost to run this place,
Right.
then they would have to go. I don't know. Whoever runs MSG would have to come out and say like, look, I understand that prices are hard, but this is the only. If we charge any lower, we will shut down. MSG will close.
Right.
I'd want them on record saying that, and then them not closing.
Well, they're going to get on record in line.
But then them not. But then them not closing. Right.
Right.
Like I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like, but nobody wants to miss
But
the
if it's
game.
what it
Like,
costs-
they have fans of games.
If it's what it costs to run the place, the more. I mean, I guess not, because the fans will go and pay for it anyway. But I would think the more consistent amount of money you could get is raising the price of the lease for the Rangers. Charge the team. The team has more money than the people do. Charge the team, but you know what I mean. So like, it's funny that the team.
But the team got like lawyers and stuff.
The team could negotiate their lease.
They got the money,
and then MSG's gonna say like we have to charge $18.
Money
for a
knows how
beer
to keep
and
money.
$24 for a hot dog. Otherwise, we're gonna go out of business.
There was
They could just could tell the Rangers to give them $8 million more dollars.
I mean, in
That's a sad
defense,
thing.
in their
Yeah.
defense, they give away like 25 T-shirts a game.
Right.
Oh,
right.
well, there you
right.
go.
And then they pretend like it's
So
like
why
a
are we
big
complaining?
deal.
Why are we
It's like a
complaining?
big
They
deal.
make people fight
And it's-
over
and
them.
it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
only- You know what? You know
They're
what would be
not even
nice?
nice T-shirts.
Like,
They're
they're
not
not
nice
even-
T-shirts.
They're
That's the
shitty.
thing.
They're not even as nice.
Man.
Like they're not like they sell them. The
They're
ones
not-
they
no,
sell.
no,
How about
like
they're
cheap.
shitty quality.
Shoot out in actual one of the real jerseys.
Exactly. Just one, even.
That
Just
would
one.
be nice.
That would be
But I
a
mean,
fight.
20 of
That'd
them.
be
But
like-
that
that'd
would
be
They
like
do these
gladiators,
shirts.
Yeah, it would cause
man.
a fight. But
People
like,
would be killing
because
people for that.
not game worn or anything, just a jersey. But I'm just saying, like, it's a T-shirt that costs $5 that you're gonna walk outside
And the
the
designs
guys
aren't nice
and the
usually
guys
either.
peddling the shirts on the street are selling those shirts.
Right.
It's like as if they send out
Exactly.
Mr.
Yeah.
Met outside and they're like, whatever nobody bought on the way in, grab them all, we'll shoot them back up. These
Buy them
idiots.
buy them as a discount.
I mean, like, really.
And let's watch them
Really?
fight. Let's watch them beg for a shirt.
That's
Right. It's like
ridiculous.
it's like two hobos fighting over a sandwich. Like, is how
But-
they treat the whole thing.
But it's interesting because price gouging. I don't know if I saw this on the news the other day. I think it was regular news, which I don't remember too well. But there's a guy by where in the city is he? I think he's downtown near the World Trade Center thing. But he sells hot dogs, and he pretty much only tries to sell them to like out of towners that don't know anything, and
How does he do that?
he gets a hot
Tells
dog.
the other people keep walking.
Well, no, he kind of like goes by their
Don't-
accent and how they do.
don't
But
look here.
he charges $30 for a hot dog.
Oh my god.
And
the hell outta
I swear to
here.
God, look him up. You probably find. But apparently, he was caught somewhere else doing it, and he got in trouble, and he moved. And I think it's wrong, obviously. But why is he allowed to not do it?
You see what's funny
But
is
they-
I think you should be allowed to do that.
That's
if you're
it.
dumb enough
It's your hot dog.
that you're on a
sell-
sidewalk and you're
Right.
buying a hot dog for $30, you deserve to lose that
Because
$30.
there's another stand that you
There's
can
another
go to.
stand.
Right.
When you're in a stadium,
You can't.
you're like,
There's
there's
no place
nobody
else
else
to
But that's what I'm
selling
saying.
beer.
How is that all right that they can do it?
Because it's a
Be-
plebe.
Right. And they lock you in
Exactly.
that you
Right.
have to do it. But this guy who has all these, like, no, F you, and
'Cause
move
he's
up that block.
Because
You
he's
think
not
so.
he's not the kind of person who's allowed to make money.
Right,
He's
exactly.
he's a normal citizen.
Exactly.
So the Utah Hockey Club
Okay, brand
Why
new.
them?
They're
kicked
brand
off
new.
its
I know,
final
right? Because
NFL
it's like the newest team.
season, celebrated the victory and their new team by setting a new arena record for beer sales, $120,000 in total sales.
And
That's
what?
it?
Was
In,
that like
in a
8
night?
years?
So what is that?
That's like not even that much.
120 Well,
Yeah.
Utah,
Wait.
the beers probably aren't
Probably cheaper, yeah.
50.
Wait,
1,000
128,000?
120,000?
120,000 in one night.
That's
like
pretty good.
75 beers.
Was
I'm
a
just
record.
no. I'm saying I think that's low if all the beers are $18.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Well, do
120,000
Well, they said it's a record, so
divided
it's gotta
by
be a lot.
18 is 6,666.
That's a lot of beer.
But it can't be $18 a beer in the Utah.
Look it up. I'm
state.
sure you can find that.
Well, I guess either way, it's still the record for sales. So total
That's
numbers
still, imagine making $128,000
just for the beer,
Just for beer.
not food,
Just beer.
not tickets,
Not other alcoholic beverages, not
other
other
alcoholic
drinks,
beverages,
Right.
soda.
soda.
You know
Yeah,
what
it's
soda
expensive.
costs?
Yeah,
soda's
soda costs like
expensive.
30 cents for a cup. They sell
Yeah.
it for $6.
Water,
or something.
too.
And they offer you you get a souvenir cup every time.
The water as well.
I do.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, water.
it's funny that
I won't buy water anywhere outside.
That's so
I
true.
refuse.
no, it's
Beer-
crazy.
Beer for enjoyment, but water, forget it.
No. Yeah, Leo asked me for a water. I'm like,
I will not.
the bathroom is over there. Got a sink. That's the worst. Water. Oh,
It is.
God.
I do. That's one. This is one area where I really wish like boycotts or whatever were so much more like
So
so much
do I.
easier to do.
Those are the things that I want.
Just even to like give them a middle, like just so somebody has to lose their,
Yeah.
they lose their money, you know,
Yeah.
like Cohen, whatever, out of the Mets guy. Not like that anything's wrong with him particularly. Just
Right.
he's the first name I knew.
They popped in your
Nobody,
head.
everybody skip a year of the Mets. They've been bad for 60 years. The food's ridiculously expensive. Just skip like no one season, nobody goes. You know what I mean? I'd
Yeah.
love to see him grovel to get people to come back. You know, it wouldn't even. He's a billionaire.
Before he bought the team, they had.
But I'm saying
they
he's
had
a
some years
billionaire.
Nobody was going to the games.
Right.
Well, right, but like, and then he bought the team because it was cheap. Like,
Yeah.
and look, it's not gonna. He's not gonna not be a billionaire because people don't go.
Right.
But when there's money that they count on,
Oh,
there
yeah.
is a lot of
yeah.
money.
That breaks
and
them.
and it's one thing you notice, like when with big businesses or anything like that, even though it's a lot, they rely on because of like margins. They do rely on. They do have expenses that
Right.
are relatively high.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't think they're making $1 million a game on charging everybody, but they're making. I think they're making good money. You know what I mean? But they're like, I just feel like there's more room, or there should be more like wiggle room, like Matt says, with leases or like with that. Don't take it out on the
Yeah,
fans.
charge the team. I feel
Like
that
that's
makes
the
most
craziest
sense.
way to do
Yeah.
it.
I know.
Yeah.
But because it's just the easiest, because they're like, well, they really have no bargaining power. They can just
Where are the
not come,
peons?
and if this guy doesn't go, some other
Someone else
schmuck
will
is
The thing
going to
take
that's
come.
funny is
Exactly.
that,
You know?
aside from it just being having to be a more difficult conversation because you actually have to have lawyers like involved in talking.
Mm-hmm.
The teams don't really have that much of a bark because they can't just leave. The leagues don't let them just leave the city. They can't really change state. There's only so many stadiums available in a place that would cost money to redo to renovate them. It would take time, so they don't really have. You know what I mean? Like they don't have that much bargaining power anyway. You could definitely charge the teams more. It's just a longer conversation where, as you know, one person could just say, "I've raised the beer another $2."
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe with like players' unions and
at
stuff.
$15 a beer, right? 8,000 beers is $120,000.
Okay.
So at $10 a beer will be $80,000. That's not enough to make in one night.
You're like 40,000
doesn't,
off.
like-
You're like that was our only profit.
That's one night. Like that's
right,
one
right.
night.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no way the margins
That's
are
not
that
over
thin.
40 games, right?
There's just no way.
Not
You
including
think-
everything else.
You think beer and food will be cheaper at the new Bills Stadium, since the taxpayers are flipping the bill?
No. No. Because
mean-
they got to get a vendor in there to
No,
run
there's
all
a
the
vendor.
concessions.
Yeah,
We-
the vendor would have to-
And the vendor's going to charge what they charge.
Yeah. like,
I wonder what they get paid, the people that work there.
Like
Oh,
the
minimum
average
wage.
Minimum wage.
Minimum
Like
wage.
the bartenders and
Yeah.
stuff.
minimum wage, 100%.
guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Hourly, so whatever hours they work,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. For sure, they're like just like
Yeah,
event,
and they
event,
don't work a full
event
6 hours,
personnel
right?
or whatever. Yeah,
A game is
They
no.
work,
I'd
they
say
work whatever the game
Well,
is.
no,
I'm
they
saying
might have to
they
go a
probably
little
have to be
early and a little
an
late.
hour
They don't
early or
even
and a
something.
little late.
They don't,
Yeah.
even, they don't even probably don't even make standard minimum wage. They make like the service minimum wage.
Oh,
yeah.
they do get
Counted
tips.
And then they
$10
get
'cause they
tips.
get
That's
They
the
do
way
get a tip
around that.
pool. There you go.
That's it. Even if your tip is low, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Yeah, because if the game's like 3-4 hours, they probably work an hour above
Yeah,
and
hour each
beyond.
way.
After
And they're
Give or
probably
take.
making $10 an hour. I mean, plus tips, which to be fair, most people hit the 15% button, so it's pretty high because 15% of
Yeah, but if you're split-
$120,000 is a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah,
But,
You know,
that's
you know,
nuts.
it's split. Yeah, but it gets split
Yeah.
between.
We
the
should look
staff.
that up. Look
Right.
that up now.
What?
What?
What's the average person making tips at an arena?
that'll be
For an
hard to
event.
find. I feel
That's-
like
Someone had to post it.
it's
It
just like
depends
a
on the game. Depends
yeah,
on
the team.
Pick
the
a
money.
Yankee game.
You can try. I don't know if AI is that good yet, and I feel like. I mean, you're relying on. You think one guy was like, I just pulled
Yes.
the shift at Yankee Stadium,
Yes,
and I made this, and you're gonna go.
A
That's what they all make.
100%.
Maybe. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
100%.
I just think, like, regardless, the through line is that they are definitely not getting like great money. It's not like
Not-
everybody's
you wouldn't
trying
think-
to work
yeah.
at the ballpark.
Right.
Like everybody's like,
Yeah.
my life goal is to be a concession stand. There's nothing wrong with it. I just mean it's like not a super great paying job. That it's like
right.
I mean, you
people
get
are
the free-
knocking down the door.
You get to see free games. Or
No, you can't. You
concerts.
don't even watch the game.
That's true, you
They do
walk
try-
TVs are behind
they,
them.
They do try. and
TVs are
pull you
behind
in,
them, and they're
though,
too far
you know?
away to see
They
the
do.
thing.
When you're walking around, they do try and pull you in. Like they want you to buy the beer from them because it must be stand by stand.
Maybe.
Well, you think?
Maybe.
Or
I don't get that.
Oh,
or
the
person by
tips, you
person,
mean?
because, yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
they
well,
try
yeah.
and,
The
like, you
tips
know,
must be
right.
Maybe.
at
I don't
least
know.
by the stand.
Yeah, but
possibly even
that's
by the
unfair
person,
because
but
you
probably
know
by the
if you
stand.
work in the bottom levels, you're going to make more money than the top levels. Because the people that bought the cheaper seats,
No, it's not
I
even
mean,
that. I'm
hate to
even-
say it, aren't
even
going to
when
buy
you
you the
walk
most
around,
alcohol.
I
There's
don't know if
guys
that's-
in
I
the
feel like
hallways
I don't know.
hawking you.
I don't
People
feel like I
could
get
buy-
hawked at games.
They're not hawking you, but they are saying
Maybe.
The,
I mean,
the
fair
guy,
enough.
the guy
Why
walking
would
up and
they-
down the
Why
stairs.
would they have to
Take a
yell and
beer.
compete with each other? If you're looking for a beer, you know where you're going to find it. You're in a
Who's
circle.
yelling and competing? That's the
There's
thing.
guys. There's guys at actual stands, and then there's guys with the
Yeah.
buckets.
Oh, like
standing
walking around.
Yeah, not even in the seats. Like because they're out there during pregame.
They definitely.
Okay, fair enough. They might.
The guys with the things
The guys
definitely
like
push
walking
hard.
down
Yeah.
the things. Okay, I thought you were talking about.
He probably gets to keep his
I
whole
thought you were
tip.
saying they had
No,
like,
but the
yeah,
other
like
guys-
people
the other-
waving.
They,
Yeah.
they do call you over too. The
I don't
guys.
know.
I
the
think
guys-
the guy. I
They
think the
probably
guy
keep
with the
their
thing gets to
tips.
keep his tips, his personal
His
tips,
They
personal
must
tips.
have
They
somehow
probably
because they
keep
do
their
yell.
tips.
because they're like beer here.
Yeah, it's like
beer
part of
here,
the thing.
Going here, and they're really
I
pushing.
don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
they're
about
pushing.
that specifically, but
I don't know.
I think one of us. I think
it's a terrible racket.
that's what we have to start
It
doing.
is.
We really
it's
have
a
to
shame
dig
'cause I
deep,
like going to games.
guys. For this podcast, we have to go a little deeper. So we have to start proving what we're talking about. Why doesn't one of us get a job there, just for a few games?
It doesn't sound like fun.
Just we don't know yet.
Well,
We
that's
haven't
the other
worked there.
thing. How do you get a job? You got to know somebody. I bet you.
I don't even know where.
I
Yeah.
bet you got to
You
know
think?
somebody. To get
When do
into
you
one of those
apply during
jobs.
the game? Because you can't walk in and get a job
I
there
don't know.
during
I
the.
knew some people who worked at City Field,
And
Really?
how they get in?
There's probably
but
events.
they didn't work at like the food. They worked for City Field.
There's
you know?
probably
They
yeah.
just apply online.
I know
That's-
City Field
Oh
has
yeah,
an
online.
open
I don't know why I
thing,
forgot about that.
but not the concession thing.
Yeah, the concession. I
They,
don't
I feel
know.
like
they do it for,
concessions
like,
is
the
probably an
greeters
event.
and the people that
Yeah,
do
yeah,
all
yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff,
They did, yeah,
but
yeah.
not for the
The stands.
There's probably a company
And
that
definitely
runs
those guys
that's
that
like an
walk
event
around, those guys
company,
that walk around, I know you have
and they
to know
hire
somebody
those
to get
people
in.
out. Like I doubt it's like I'm hired by City Field to be a concessions. It's probably a separate
Hired from
company,
the company that puts City
and they're
City
like,
Field,
I need
right.
80 people tonight for City.
Yeah.
It's probably it's. I'm sure it's like the same people because like you've worked there, you know it. But like I doubt it's. You know, because it's not that hard. Like if you've worked,
It's like
I'm
what
sure
do
if
you
you've worked
call
at
it?
one, you can work at them all because like it's one ring up thing.
It's
Right.
I know a couple
You know,
of people
I mean-
I could ask. I'm going to
It's
find
like
out
the
about this. I'm gonna
um,
delve
Really?
into
like
this a
security
little.
guards. You know,
I'd
it's just
like
a-
to.
Yeah,
it's
right,
a
right.
company.
It's a
I-
company.
It's just a
and-
company.
I
They
wanna
put
work
you
with
I
them.
would love
places.
having a job at an arena where I could go see the games every night.
Yeah, but I think
You're not
you're.
really
I think
seeing
you're
the
not
game,
seeing
but-
the games.
No,
like,
but yeah,
almost
it's
at
on
all.
TV.
You're in the atmosphere.
Behind you.
You're in the
Well,
atmosphere.
You ever notice
Actually-
that they put the TVs behind the people working?
Yeah.
I understand it's good for the people
That's
on the
'cause
line,
you're
but they're not
watching.
looking at it.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm saying it's for the,
Well,
the
he
viewer,
would.
but I don't.
He'd be like, "What do you want?"
All right, I mean, yeah,
can
like I
do-
guess you could
can
do
two
that.
things at once.
Well, no, at City Field, at City
So you'd have to
Field,
turn
Pour a
around.
beer and
At
watch a
City-
game. I can definitely do that.
at City Field, a lot of the times they have the TVs on the columns in front of the stands as well.
They do. They have them across by the band.
But-
They're everywhere.
Other Mike will be walking around the arena. No, I don't want that spot. No, no. That's the job I
That's
need
the
right
job
there.
I
That's
want.
the job. Field view and a TV right
There
there.
are definitely better ones, like better than other stands. You know,
I'm going to find out. I'm gonna
Is
look
it-
into
I wonder.
this.
You know, there must be. I guess audits aren't. They're not public.
We're all
companies.
going to have to get
I was
jobs
saying
there.
I would
and-
love to
and
look
see
at
who
like an
makes the
audit.
most tips.
I think I'm down for this. I said I think we should start doing that. as
I'll
a
be the
podcast.
ref or something. I'm not doing that. I would be interested to see
All right,
an
that's
audit.
not a job you can just apply for. I mean, you can, but
No, not of the game of this.
oh, of this,
competition.
gotcha.
He'll ref the competition.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What was I saying?
I don't know.
It'd be interesting to see.
Oh, audit. You
Audit.
See them
An
audit.
audit of a stadium or an arena, any of them. Just because I you know, like the question will always be, how much are they making? Because if they are making, you know, in a year, if they're making $12 million of profit, there's plenty of wiggle room to lower the prices of beer and food so that a family can go
for something
and
like
not be
MSG.
like, we can only go once a year, guys.
Yeah.
For something
Sorry, son. I'd love to take you to 4 baseball games, but
So 100.
you get one on your birthday, and that's
yeah,
it.
right.
Let's say 100,000. Let's say they make 100,000 a game just on beer, right?
Right.
40 home games for a hockey team,
Yeah.
approximately. The $4 million a year just on the beer
Right.
alone.
Right. I'm saying I don't know. I'm sure like there's expenses, right?
Of course.
And
of
look,
course
if you
there's
looked at
always
audit, I bet
expenses.
half the expenses are fake expenses that are also it's another handout to somebody, also part of it, right? But like
Nancy Pelosi.
I'd
Like I said,
imagine,
do
like
they have
because
to-
most of
see,
them
but I
own their
think
land.
They
like,
must have to pay fees though to go into the stadium, right? Like that. There must be a contract.
who's they?
So these
The
are like
vendors.
the vendors are like
Right.
it's a big company, right? They do all the vending in a building,
Right.
right? They must have to pay the arena to have that license to be in there, right? They must all bid on that.
Sure.
So that's probably got to be a big chunk of money because they got to make their money.
But then who's pricing it? Right.
do you
So
mean?
you're saying because then if the pricing if all of the concessions,
Yeah, I
let's
would
just
know.
group it all together. Let's say every concession is one company doing it, and they're going to City Field, right? And they're saying, "Hey, City Field, we want to do it for you."
Yes.
And City Field goes, "Okay, it costs $6 million a year." And now this company has to make it work on their end to price everything to
Exactly.
make 7. Right. Okay. So then I'm just saying, like, you're kind of kicking the ball, not like you. I just mean because
know
if
it's not
that's the
me.
case, but then it's like what it's like. City Field charging $6 million is sort of arbitrary unless it's part of their. At the end of the day, somebody's making a lot of money,
Shitload of money.
and I'm wondering what the margins are of that. You know what
Yeah,
I'm trying
no,
to say?
I know.
Like, it's not like they're all operating at cost.
Right.
I don't know who is the middle. Like maybe City Field's like, look, as long as you pay us $4 million,
Yeah,
you could charge them all
they're probably
whatever.
making a lot
You
of
can
money.
make 10.
I mean,
I don't
Coke-
care.
Coke and
As long as
Pepsi-
I get my 4, you can screw these people over every day of every.
Coke and Pepsi bid on the stadiums. That's why some have Coke and some have Pepsi.
Yeah, I know. I
That's
get
all-
that.
it's all a bidding
I'm just
thing.
saying
Yeah,
somebody.
but they're probably all making tons of money.
They, of
Right,
course
right,
they are.
right.
They're the
Or they
people
wouldn't be
up here.
doing it.
The ones that aren't making money are the guys selling the stuff.
yeah,
They're the ones that are
right.
making the money.
Right.
But
I know, but
get what
the
you're
people
saying,
getting taken advantage of are the fans. The
Always.
people selling it, they're not getting taken advantage. They're getting a wage, to do a job, which is like everybody else always all the time in
And
America.
it's low, which is everybody else.
Right, like,
always
I mean,
all the time.
it's just whatever. I'm just saying, like, the bill eventually falls down to the fans, and I just wonder where the money is pooling. You know what I mean? Like, I find if it's everybody making it, then I think everybody could lose a little. Like, fine, if it
Everybody
goes
could
all the
lose.
way to the team too. You know what I mean? Like, if they're,
think
I don't
the
know, part of
team
their contract
makes
has
the
to do
most
with that.
sense.
I don't know.
I don't think players need that much money.
That's what I mean. I think that
I just
taking
think
the money, because these teams have a lot of money.
The whole sporting thing needs to be looked at. That's my opinion.
Hell
They-
yeah.
They make way too much money, and then it costs way too much money for everybody else to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody
Total
loves
price.
sports. It's never going to go out of business, but they're taking advantage
They're abusing
of
us.
everybody. They really are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's insane.
yeah, it is.
Well, they all are. Sports, concerts.
Those boxes, you
Broadway
know, sell those
shows.
boxes for, like those private boxes,
I mean,
and half of the time they're empty.
Saying.
yeah.
That's the worst. They rather sit empty. The same thing like plane, first class. Rather be empty than like put you in it.
Because
for
with
cheap.
those kinds of things, they're like selling the exclusivity, so they can't just
I went
upgrade
to
you.
one once.
Right.
It
They
was,
just can't because it's like part of the.
it was fully
Right.
set up for 40 people.
Oh, what was? A
A
box?
box. It was for a concert. It was fully set up for 40 people. Food, drinks, wine, beer, food, whatever you want. There's 2 people there. Me and one other person. It was great.
Where was
It a
everybody
great night. Nobody else showed up.
Oh, you and Uncle Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a great night. But it was like all that stuff.
That's crazy.
I mean, they reuse it. I mean, we didn't touch it. Not like we went and licked every bottle or anything like that.
I mean, even the food in there. I guess some of them. I've been to a Yankee game where I was on the like way down. I don't know what that area is called, but I didn't eat any of the food because they had like seafood and stuff, and that looked like it was
You
really
don't wanna
expensive. I didn't want to die. I was at a baseball game. It wasn't my time there. But then I've been to like football games, like the boxes and the food, and a hockey game, and the food's okay. I still don't think it's
Food's
that.
okay. It's not like
It's not
Fine.
incredible.
It's
Yeah.
It's like
it's
it's what you
arena
would
food
expect,
or
but it's
whatever.
not worth $20.
Right.
Is the moral of the story? Like,
I mean,
I'd pay $6 for like.
They
This
have chocolate
hot dog.
chip cookies.
You
That
know,
was cool.
If and like 6 is kind of a lot for just a hot dog and a bun. I could make like for that amount, I can get a full 6 hot dog buns and 6 hot dogs for that price here. Like, it's like, come on, you guys aren't buying this stuff for more money.
Right.
You're buying it for even less
for
money.
less.
Then what
And
we
I'm
get-
saying it's already cheap. I'm
Right.
saying for $3 you get 6 hot dogs.
Yeah.
And you're charging me 6. I'm like, come on, you're getting it in bulk. I'm not.
Yep.
I'm buying 6. Whatever.
Exactly.
It's not fair. I don't know. I don't like it.
I hope that's what
I
you
don't
know.
like it
I
either.
just hope the whole industry, whatever. Like I
kept
always
telling you
pray
going
that
to
there's a comeuppance. You know, like you know what is like. Look, I obviously
I
don't
always
hope there's
wonder
like
if
a
there's
downturn
if-
in the economy, but I wonder if that's something that would just get clipped right off the top because like the second it's like real hard for people,
Who's going?
they're
to a
not
sports
going
game,
to
yeah.
sport. Like that's not the.
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's
not
one-
like the.
that's
I'm
one of the
saving
things
my
you
money for
cut out.
that.
Right,
That's
right.
what you cut out, and it would be so nice to
But
see
how,
all these
how,
I mean, it's happening
how
with movie
bad would it
theaters
have
a
to
bit.
be
for like
Yeah,
to be like
for-
nothing.
for
I don't know.
really-
That's what I'm saying.
for
I hope it's
really-
not. I hope
like for the
everything's.
whole industry to go like, you know, we can't pay the players that much anymore.
I don't know. I don't.
It
It
would
would be
have
worse
to
for
be- it would have
everybody
to be
else.
We
bad.
have to lower the
It'd
ticket
have to be
prices.
really
It would
bad.
have to be really
Everyone
bad.
would have to.
Right,
not
which is
really
why I
be
say like
making
I'm not
money.
hoping that there's that much of a issue like in
Right.
with the U.S. economy, but like I think we talked about that in general of like sometimes the only silver lining of that is that I hope that the people at the top, and that's why it's something like the Wall Street, like the collapse in '08 when they got bailed out.
Yeah.
That was like the worst. Not that I was cognizant at the time, but like looking back at it, that was the worst part about it because you're like, fine, okay, the economy, literally, we're in a recession. It's hard for everyday people. At least the banks, finally, these people are going to get held accountable.
Right.
And then nobody does.
One person
and
was
that's like,
arrested, or 3 people
Yeah.
were
Yep.
arrested.
Yep.
yeah,
something
and like
that.
3 people jumped off a building, and like that was it. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Well, that was
Yeah.
bad.
One bank closed.
No, I mean it
right?
was
So, I
bad.
think
It was
one.
bad because they were criminals though. Like they weren't
Yeah,
doing
no,
it
I
because
know.
they're like, oh, this is such a sad day for America. They're like, I did this.
I'm going to go to jail.
You know what I mean? I mean, it should have looked like the lemmings jumping off the cliff when that happened for all those bankers, but it didn't because they got bailed out. Like, I don't know, and that's probably what would happen.
It would.
You know what I mean? They would
There would
instead
be
of
a
letting
sports
us
bailout,
fall,
you
they
think?
would be sport. No, they would be giving stipends that are only allowed for sport. They're like, we got to keep morale. You know, they did that in the Depression to some degree. That there was like not like paying people to go to sports games, but there was like I can't think. There was a word for it where they had things that were like
Ridiculous.
subsidized.
If you don't know the word, we don't know
I
it.
definitely don't know it.
It was things. It was like events that were like subsidized. so that people, they're like, we got to give them something. Because it was like, I mean, it was
Try and keep
terrible.
people happy.
Try to keep people at least like, sir, what do they say? Like
spirits.
circus and whatever.
That's why, like, once a year they do those things. We're gonna go back to our original pricing. We're gonna give you 2 hot dogs for the price of 1. Nathan's does the 5
It gives you
hot
like hope.
dogs
You're like,
once
oh
a year.
wow, like that's so cool. It's like, and then they get to go back to charging you 18.
Yeah. Well, that's life, man. I
guess.
I don't know.
There's no easy solution.
I usually don't think about it, but we were talking about it, and Johnny added up, and I'm like, like you said, on top of the ticket, it costs, every time I go to a game, it costs me between $100 and $200 on stuff, depending on who I'm with.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, a family, you're definitely knocking out 500 easily.
That's what I'm saying. I feel terrible. Like there's people there with little kids, and they're constantly going, like I said, can't hot dog.
And then they also want a souvenir.
Oh, they gotta get a shirt, scarf, hat, whatever.
Shirt, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
The big finger,
man.
the foam finger.
They don't give you a discount on anything.
Nothing.
No,
Sad.
it is.
Anyway,
This was a
I'll
depressing
continue
one.
to go. I'll continue to
This
go.
was
to
the
games.
depressing one.
It's not that depressing.
Kind of is because it's like a thing. It's like
It's kind of
there's
hopeless. There's nothing you can
there's
do.
no
hope.
way to there's no way to claw it back.
Right. Well, we'll
Like
get
that's
all.
you know what I'm saying?
We'll
It's something. It's clearly I think advantageous or
Maybe
not
we just didn't
advantageous.
think
It's
about it long enough.
exploitative.
Maybe we could beat the system somehow. We have to think it
Well,
over.
we'll get all our listeners not to
Maybe.
go to any games.
All right, so they
Go to a game.
okay, so 30 less people.
Wow, you're being generous.
I was hoping my family listened.
Man, profits are down by
Profits are down by.
$150.
We're gonna have to charge 20 for the rest of. We gotta make that up. Now everybody's getting 20 beers.
Where were those guys?
The worst part about it is this guy will still be going to the games, and he's on the podcast bitching about it. He'll be.
I'm still gonna go.
Because you kind of gotta go. That's why I'm saying it's sad.
We'll
It's 'cause, like, I
protest.
do want to go to. I like going to sports games, and I like the teams. Like that, I like. You know what I
Right,
mean?
no,
You don't
I-
want to
You
not
know,
I
go.
agree.
you know, next Tuesday when this airs,
You're
you're probably
in a hard place
next
with this
Tuesday
shit.
when this airs, you're gonna be at the game. Listen,
I might
no look,
be.
you'll be that day.
Yeah,
Oh,
no. Maybe something. Maybe something will change. You know?
revolution.
Yeah, maybe that might be the only way.
Yeah.
It's sort of a big.
Getting closer.
It's sort of a big problem. I
The
mean,
thing
it's
is,
like by big, I
if
just mean
everything
it's like
collapsed,
complex.
Right? If everything collapsed, it would collapse for a period of time, and when it came back, it would come back worse.
We'll go
Right,
back.
yeah. They'd have to make up for all the loss.
Right, exactly. Then
Probably.
it'll
Yeah,
be,
that'd be 35.
instead of $22 a beer, it'd be $35.
35, exactly.
I'm gonna start bringing the change jar. They don't even take cash anymore, so
They don't.
Yeah,
You
true.
can't even mess with them with the change
They
jar.
don't.
You know,
No.
cashless.
What
That's
else,
another
sir?
thing I don't want to talk about. First they wanted all our cash to go away, and now they charge you extra if you use a card.
Yeah,
Which is crazy.
That's crazy.
The-
Don't even get me started.
Even on the debit card where
Yeah.
there's no fees,
I know.
they still grab you. Like,
Yep.
what the hell?
3% extra.
Even gas
I'm like,
stations
no.
don't do that. Gas stations, if you use a debit card, don't add
Don't
the.
do that, right.
They
Yeah,
still
just
give you
credit
a.
card, yeah.
They give you a cash fee.
Cash price.
But anywhere else, use a debit card. Get those fees.
Anyway,
Screw you all.
sorry I depressed you, Mike.
That's all right.
Wait till the next episode.
Yes.
We'll cheer you up on that one.
No,
Cheer you up on the next episode.
no, thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening, and as always,
Stay angry, annoyed, and amused.